The content of this podcast is provided for general informational purposes only and is not intended as, nor should it be considered a substitute for professional medical advice. Hello, everyone. This is Karen Nickel, family nurse practitioner, and this is Itchy and Bitchy, a podcast that provides answers to your many unanswered health questions. This is a quick reminder about my course called the Perimenopause Answer. If you're going through this phase in life called perimenopause, or if you don't know if you're in perimenopause, I would love to have the opportunity to talk to you about the course and see if it's the right fit for you. There is a link on our website, itchyandbitchy.com, and our Facebook page, IMB Podcast, where you can schedule an appointment for a Zoom call with me. This is a Zoom call with me, so when you make an appointment, I will be sitting at my desk waiting for you to join the one-on-one Zoom call. If you listen until the very end of every episode, which I hope you do, I remind you that your health is in your hands. And I share that on every episode because I strongly believe that we all have to advocate for ourselves when it comes to our health care. Today, I want to share a listener's story about how she advocated for herself, and by doing so, her life was saved. In 2023, our listener began having back pain, which she assumed was related to her job as a farmer, which is very physical. She figured that she had tweaked her back muscles. She first tried walking it out, but that provided no relief. She added cold packs and heat and over-the-counter pain medication with no improvement. Her work productivity declined by half because of her pain, even though she had added a back brace and a topical NSAID on top of what she was already doing. As the back pain continued and worsened, other symptoms began to appear, including constipation and inability to empty her bladder completely. She became exhausted, but thought it was because she hadn't been sleeping well and she had a busy life. At this point, she made an appointment with her family practice doctor, and he diagnosed her with a urinary tract infection based on her urinary symptoms only. There was no urinalysis or exam done during her 10-minute appointment. He gave her a 3-day course of antibiotics and prescribed naproxen, which is an NSAID, for her back pain because he felt she had a back muscle strain. He told her to keep up her walking regimen, which she was struggling to do, and to lose some weight around her belly. Although she did not see her family practice doc on a regular basis, she did keep up with regular mammograms every 2 years and pap smears every 3 years, which were always normal. Although beginning in the 1990s, the pap smear was collected at her exam, but no pelvic exam was done at her GYN visits. She was due for a pap smear in 2021, but due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the GYN office was on lockdown and her pap smear appointment was canceled and never rescheduled. By 2024, she began to have pelvic pain and had significant difficulty riding her horse around the farm. She also noticed that her lower abdomen seemed to be getting bigger, yet she was losing weight. She could only wear stretchy clothes to accommodate her growing belly. Her exhaustion also worsened. She had been listening to Itchy and Bitchy, previously called Sweaty and Pissed, as many of you know, most of you know, and she'd been listening for quite a while, and she re-listened to one that I did with comedian Leanne Morgan during our Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month. Our listener didn't connect the ovarian cancer dots at that point, but she remembered hearing on the podcast that if you are feeling dismissed, but you know something is wrong, you should keep pushing for an evaluation of the problem by your provider or get a second opinion. She didn't want to go back to her family practice doctor because she was concerned he would think she was a hypochondriac. Unfortunately, this is a common feeling among women. She also grew up with the belief that one shouldn't question doctors, but she felt she should take to heart the encouragement given on this podcast to self-advocate and seek a second opinion. She decided she would get an appointment with a nurse practitioner, like me, and she found an NP about an hour away from her town, and it took about 5 weeks for her to get in to see her. By then, our listener was bloated and her urinary and constipation symptoms were worsening. The NP took a thorough history and found multiple masses on examination of her abdomen. A pelvic exam was also performed, which was very difficult and painful, but absolutely appropriate and necessary considering our listener's history and symptoms. The NP immediately arranged for a pelvic ultrasound, another good move, and ordered some blood work. With great relief, our listener finally had her symptoms taken seriously and someone was acting quickly to address the problem. That feels so good. Within a few days, she had an appointment with a gynecologist who was also very thorough. The GYN reviewed the ultrasound results and said it was definitely advanced ovarian cancer, unfortunately, and a biopsy was done, which confirmed both high and low-grade ovarian cancer, the combination of which is relatively rare. She was quickly referred to an oncologist, and it was decided to immediately proceed with surgery. Unfortunately, at this point, an MRI revealed metastases to the spine, neck, and pelvis. She has had additional surgeries and continues to have chemotherapy, and as you can imagine, she has had significant side effects from the treatment. But she is still with us, and she feels she has much to be grateful for. Also, a very skilled group of oncologists and surgeons from Johns Hopkins have joined her team and are providing excellent advanced care. How to advocate for yourself in the healthcare system is up next after this quick break. I'll be right back. Welcome back. So, how do we advocate for our own health? Well, let's start by reviewing what it means to be a health advocate, either for yourself or someone else. Health advocates take control of their healthcare experience. You and your doctors make decisions as a team. You speak up with your questions, needs, concerns, and preferences. In a 2017 study, even though some women saw themselves as self-advocates, they struggled to locate the health information they needed, and they hesitated to upset their relationship with their healthcare providers. The definition of self-advocacy varies from organization to organization, and here are some of the many definitions. The American Society of Clinical Oncology defines it as, quote, a positive experience that often gives a person a sense of control in a time of uncertainty. Another definition, quote, key to long-term survival, including being willing to question experts if you don't understand something, is the definition used by Cure magazine. An example of that is to be active in treatment decisions and knowing all options and seeking second options. The National Coalition for Survivorship provides a more detailed definition. They state that self-advocacy is, quote, a way of taking charge in an otherwise portentous environment of diagnostic tests, surgery, radiation, chemotherapy, and doctors' offices. From arming oneself with good information about their diagnosis, to seeking second opinions, to locating resources for identifying and obtaining support, to knowing how to ask the right questions, people with cancer can become self-efficacious. And this doesn't apply just to cancer. This is true for any health concern. I have a friend who was diagnosed with anal cancer. She underwent standard treatment for this form of cancer, and on an MRI that was done following treatment, it showed complete eradication of the large tumor. Also was shown two very small, under 1 centimeter, which is about a third of an inch, reactive lymph nodes in the pelvis. So reactive lymph nodes are sort of angry lymph nodes, and they were found in the pelvis. The oncologist recommended starting 2 forms of chemotherapy that would have significant side effects, including numbness in her fingers and hands. She's a professional musician who needs healthy hands, so of course, this side effect really concerned her. I urged her to see another oncologist to get a second opinion before starting this regimen. She saw an oncologist at a facility I recommended to her, and that oncologist said the appearance of those small angry lymph nodes are consistent or were consistent with nodes that are irritated from the radiation she had during her initial treatment. He recommended a recheck MRI in 6 weeks, and that MRI showed complete resolution of the angry lymph nodes and no other evidence of continued presence of the cancer. So instead of undergoing life-altering chemotherapy, she will have regular MRI screening to ensure that there are no active lesions. Many women would have difficulty telling their oncologist that they want to see another oncologist for a second opinion, but my brave friend had that conversation in a very straightforward way, and the change in providers paid off. Here's how to become your own advocate. Take some time to think about your health goals. What does it mean for you to have good quality of life? Or what matters most to you when it comes to your health? Your relationship with your provider should be open, honest, and trusting. You and your providers are partners. You are on the same team. They should listen to your concerns and answer your questions so you feel comfortable. The relationship you have with your healthcare professional should be one in which you feel you can talk about anything with them, even sensitive subjects like sex or the price of tests or treatments. The person providing your healthcare should make sure that you understand and feel comfortable with your health decisions. It's very important to respect each other's time also. Show up on time for your appointments. Let your practitioner know if you feel rushed during your exams. If you don't have time to ask all your questions, schedule another visit so you can talk some more. As your own health advocate, again, you are part of the team. So doing your part is important too. Take your medications as prescribed and be honest with your healthcare professional if you have trouble taking the medications that have been prescribed so that other options can be explored. Follow health recommendations about diet, exercise, rest, smoking, and alcohol use. At your appointments, it's important to provide complete, honest information about your health. If needed, you can keep a folder or a notebook that has details including your symptoms, your current prescriptions, your past medical records or lab results, such as x-rays, personal and family medical history, drug allergies, over-the-counter medicines, herbs, vitamins, or supplements that you take. Let your doctor know if you've noticed any changes in your health since your last visit, like your weight, your appetite, your energy levels, bathroom habits, or ability to sleep. Don't assume anything you've experienced is unimportant. I'm going to say that again. Don't assume anything you've experienced is unimportant. Another important piece is to do your homework before and after each appointment. Research your symptoms, conditions, treatment options, and tests online or at your local library. Dr. Google is not recommended. Some very helpful free resources for reliable medical information include WebMD.com and MayoClinic.com. Using resources like this can help you understand your condition, your treatments, and any terms you might hear during your appointments. Read up on any new medications that have been prescribed for you and make sure you have been given detailed directions on how to take the med. If you are given a new medication, ask why you are taking it, the possible side effects, how and when to take it, and what to do if you miss a dose or can't take it due to side effects. Ask if insurance coverage might be a problem and if the med is expensive. If your provider can't answer these questions, ask your pharmacist who is able to determine coverage and cost of medications based on your insurance or cash costs if you don't have insurance. Your pharmacist can also tell you if there are less expensive medication options, like another drug from the same family that is covered by your insurance or is in generic form. Of course, you can also check your medication formulary to see if the new medication is an approved med and what tier the medication is on, which determines your copay. If you don't understand what a condition is, what the treatment does, or how you should take a med, ask for clear written instructions from the provider. If you don't understand your diagnosis, your treatment options, or anything that has been recommended to you, ask the practitioner or a nurse to explain it in a clear, simple way until you feel comfortable. During office visits, make sure the following things are explained to you: all the treatment options for your condition, why you may need any tests, treatments, or procedures, risks, side effects, and costs of any tests, treatment, or procedures, success rates or benefits of potential treatments, and any medical terms or suggestions you don't understand. This part of self-advocacy can be very difficult for many people, but it's important to regularly revisit your advanced care planning. By doing so, you ensure that your wishes reflect any changes in your health that may have happened since the last draft of the document. You can change your preferences at any time, and if you haven't done advanced care planning, I strongly urge you to do so. As I mentioned, it's not always easy to think about your preferences and advanced care planning in case you get seriously ill, but it's more upsetting to think about the care you might or might not receive because you didn't make your wishes known. Remember, planning brings you and your family peace of mind and is part of getting appropriate care as you age. Quoting our listener I spoke about earlier, she says, quote, "I think we do know when something is not right, and sometimes we need a little push to keep looking for answers." I will be forever grateful to Karen for her podcast, for her wisdom, insight, expertise, knowledge, and friendship during this time. I am so glad I listened to her and sought out further help. She saved my life, end quote. I think that statement is way too generous, but I am so glad that the podcast provided the support for our listener to seek help when she so desperately needed it. As she has said to me, you think you may have many problems in life, but when you lose your health, you really only have one problem. So protect your health by being your own best advocate. I hope her story will help you move forward and achieve self-advocacy. Thank you to our listener who is willing to share her story with me and now with you. It is very selfless and brave of her to share this story, and I thank her for doing so. Thank all of you for listening. Wherever you listen to this podcast, please leave a review and rate the podcast. As I've said before, your reviews and ratings really, really do matter. Also, make sure you follow the show so that it will be automatically downloaded. That matters too. If you don't tend to listen to the end of the episode, today might be the day to do so. I encourage you to visit our Facebook page, IMB Podcast, where you can give us a like and leave comments or questions for me. Our website is itchyandbitchy.com, where there are blogs with some of our subjects available for you to read. On the Facebook page and website, we have the information about how to schedule an appointment with me so we can chat about how my perimenopause course can help you if you're going through this phase in life. As always, thank you to Forrest Wenzel, our producer and composer of our theme music, and the person who does all the stuff you never see to make this podcast possible. Thank you, Forrest. Forrest has started his second of 4 semesters to earn a master's degree in music composition at the prestigious Peabody Music Conservatory. If you want to listen to some of his music other than the Itchy and Bitchy theme song, which I adore, you can go to his website, forrestwenzel.com, FORRESTWENTZEL.com. And remember, your health is in your hands.